Glad to have your company again, Pisces. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. It's a big month this month. I've been saying that to all of the signs, mainly because of the 6th house eclipse that's going to take place, a new moon eclipse on the 11th. Let's just spin this around. We see it bringing the energy of Uranus on the 4th, back up here through your domestic sphere, your creative sphere, and then into this significant zone, which is the 6th house of service, work, health. It also relates to enemies. So there's a lot going on here for you, and part of this has to do with reconciling yourself in terms of the work that you do and the service that you provide. This is important because it unleashes a tremendous amount of energy, and we see also that the planet ruling other people generally, normally we say this 7th house here, Virgo, ruled by this retrograde Mercury, relates more to marriage and the one-on-one relationships. However, because of its connection here to this very important new moon eclipse, it has to do with the way you see others and deal with others and serve others, generally speaking. This is the point of service. You, more than any other star sign, being the selfless final zodiac of the circle of 12, have an innate understanding of what it is like to love unconditionally. But I think the lesson for you here in this particular eclipse, Pisces, is that unconditional love need not be one where you become the sacrificial lamb. You can be unconditionally loving, and unconditionally loving in the way you serve others without extinguishing yourself. And I think that's the big lesson. It took me a while to get that out, didn't it? We see you bringing that energy into the 7th house here on the 12th. Now keep your eye up here on Mars, because this particular planet transiting your 12th house, which is the accidental house of Pisces, because normally your sign rules this. Mars is one of your better planets. It rules the 2nd house of finance and the 9th house of luck and good fortune, where your ruler, or one of your rulers, Jupiter, happens to be transiting now as well. But this planet's going to move back out of there over the, see, just here, 15th, 16th, it moved back out because it's retrograde. And that happened just as the moon made contact with Venus in your 8th house. So this has to do with levels of intimacy, sharing your feelings with others, and this could be, I suppose, a challenge. It's not too challenging as shown by these aspects, but it's challenging in that you have to release some of that deeply buried emotional stuff that hasn't had the opportunity to see the light of day. I think the eclipse that we see here is going to have a bearing on that as well, as well as some sort of fortuitous influence on money, because this shows me the potential for the receipt of money, because Mars here is also moving into a nice triangular aspect to these two planets, ruling your finance sector and your luck sector. This has to do with friendships, and I think that'll be activated when the moon passing over this luck point on the 18th, career on the 19th and 20th, and here on the 21st, 22nd, here in the house of friendships, acquisition of profits. But I think this might have to do with more transformative energies related to friendships. You will be fully reappraising your relationship with all manner of people in this period. So you've got the transformative approach that we see here with the new moon eclipse in the 6th house of work. We've got the transformative connection with Venus here in the 8th house of intimacy, also shared financial resources, and then here the transformative activation with Pluto and Mars. Now this can also show some problems with friends, so you need to be careful that where I mentioned you're going to open up and share your feelings and that sort of thing, being a little too honest may trigger some of these aggressive tendencies, which is often noted with the conjunction of these very harsh, aggressive, dominant planets. So it's probably better to lay low a little bit, which you will as the moon moves into this full moon phase just here on the 25th, 26th. You can see that happening in your sun sign, and that's pretty significant. Again, bringing with it the energies of the eclipse earlier in the month, now transferring that back into the zone of marriage, relationships, business partnerships, and so on and so forth, shown by the transit of Mars around the 23rd of August here. So that's going to shine a light on that. And I think from the 26th through till the 30th or so, you're going to see that that is going to dominate. The last couple of aspects relate to your finances there on the 29th. And finally, the very powerful and sometimes illogical, unexpected, edgy combination with Uranus in your third house of short travels and thinking. Once again, keep your thinking on an even keel. Don't make decisions quickly, especially with these planets still being retrograde up here in the zone of friendship. Your friendly planet Mars, as you've seen, there has just made a stationary position, what we call a stationary station. It's moved from its retrogression into its forward direct movement. So when I mentioned to you the finances, this is a good omen, and things that have been held in abeyance over your money matters will then finally get the green light to go forward. I'll see you next month, I hope. For those of you that are new, don't forget to... Oh, my daughter's saying goodbye to you.
Astrology.com.au.
Astrology.com.au. She's got it down pat. If you want to get more information, that's the site to visit, my website. And you can always drop me a line here. Don't forget to subscribe. Really do hope to see you next month.